29th of August 2024, Ubisoft Shanghai releases a new and unique addition to the Chinese version of The Division 2. It's called the Magnetic Storm Guardian. This Guardian quickly becomes a must-have for all players, offering an unmatched level of safety and buffs when activated. The Guardian's abilities can be upgraded by adding Guardian cores. These cores can be upgraded to a maximum level of level 6. Well, that was the case until today, the 5th of November 2025. Hi everyone, hope all is well. Before I begin, it's worth noting that the Chinese server adopts a free-to-play model with in-game purchases, where we in the West would call that pay-to-win, unlike the international game which adopts a premium pay-to-play model. So let's begin. I've previously covered in depth what the Magnetic Storm Guardian does. If you would like to find out a little bit more, I'll leave some links in the description below of some of my previous videos. But to make things simple, I will quickly go over the key benefits of each level of the Guardian before covering the latest Guardian upgrade. While your Guardian is at level 1, if you take a fatal blow, the Guardian will restore all your health and armour. As long as you participate in 2 kills within 20 seconds, you will stay alive, but if you fail, you will die. At level 2, the Guardian's cooldown is reduced. At level 3, you receive a 7-second immunity from death, and a 50% rate of fire boost when you take a fatal blow. At level 4, your immunity duration is increased to 14 seconds. Whilst at level 5, the Guardian's bombardment ability is enhanced. And finally, at level 6, only 1 kill is now needed when the Guardian is activated, and the player receives a 200% weapon damage buff. Level 6 was the highest you could take your Guardian, until now. Now, it's also worth noting that each level the Guardian is upgraded has a monetary cost, which I will cover a little bit later in the video. At level 7, the first thing you'll notice is that the Guardian has a new look. I must say I really dislike this look. I think the model is terrible. It looks very much like a child's toy, and not really some sort of like high-tech combat companion. So whereas I didn't really mind the previous model flying around and following me, this model is just horrible. I really wish there was an option to go back to the previous model, maybe them putting some sort of toggle system in. I really don't know, but be warned, once you upgrade to level 7, you're stuck with this model. Then we come to the companion's level 7 abilities. So when you receive a fatal blow, which puts you in a transcendental state, you now gain 50% damage to elites. So remember, this is on top of the 200% weapon damage you get at a level 6, meaning that your elite damage that you output is absolutely insane. Here on the screen is some footage of me testing the damage out in the shooting range. As you can see on the screen, that the damage that I'm currently hitting on a critical hit with the sniper rifle is 678 million. Now I'm going to go and damage myself and proc the Guardian. So now the Guardian is now procced. Now over the next 10 seconds, this damage to elites should ramp up this extra 50%. It'll keep getting higher and higher for 10 seconds, and there you go. It's capped out now at 1.5 billion. So it's quite an incredible difference in damage, and it lasts until the buff finishes. Now the buff in total is for 40 seconds, so you get that for 40 seconds. However, I don't really see this working too well in actual combat, just for the simple reason, how many elites is there that you're fighting against, and how many opportunities are you really going to get to use this particular buff? It may come in handy on like certain areas in the incursion, maybe even, I don't know, on a raid boss or something, but really I don't really see too much of a benefit, even though it looks like it's an incredible benefit. The second part of the bonus also says that once our immunity ends, which remember lasts for 14 seconds, the Guardian will construct a magnetic field providing us with full armour. This in theory should last another 26 seconds after the immunity stage runs out, but in my testing I couldn't really say for definite that it actually works. On a few occasions I died while this supposed invisible barrier should be active, so I don't really know, maybe it's bugged, maybe it's just not really as strong as what it sounds like it will be. Next we've got the level 8 Guardian. Now this is pretty interesting. So the Guardian can automatically complete loot collection. So it will only pick up loot of superior, which is purple or higher. It won't pick up things like ammo, special ammo, resources like water and food. Neither will it pick up things like keys from like territory controls or like rockets from like Iron Horse, etc. So the new auto collection actually does sound good. Well, sort of. The problem arises really from all those items that you purposely don't pick up in the game because they're trash, and you maybe like deconstruct them, should I say, on the floor. Now everything gets picked up, so that really gives you the added task of sorting through your inventory, marking most of the stuff as trash and destroying it. However, on the flip side, never missing an item or destroying something by mistake on the ground is pretty much a thing of the past. Now my view on this is pretty simple. It's not needed, and it's never been needed. I actually prefer the anticipation and the excitement of running over to that loot pile in the hope that one of the items that I've been looking for has finally dropped for me. Auto collections really take that away from that part of the game, and obviously the big part of the game is about loot drops as well as combat gameplay. But also, on a side note, the Chinese game does actually have a postmaster service for mods that are not picked up during combat. So if they really wanted to add this feature of auto loot collection, they could have added it to that postmaster service, but I guess why do that when you can actually monetize the feature? Now, last up we've got level 9. So when you have your Guardian at level 9, when it's in the transcendental state, so you've took the fatal blow, the Guardian will activate a magnetic field that has a chance to influence the bullets that our agent fires. So what does that mean in English? Well, in the West we would call that an aimbot. So yeah, at level 9 you get an official aimbot, which is just insanity. I really don't know what to think of this, except it shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing in any video game ever. Now in testing this, to be fair, it's actually pretty poor. I wouldn't even say it comes close to really like hitting like 50% of your missed bullets. It's like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10% or something like that. So it's maybe not as egregious as it actually sounds, but on the screen you should be able to see me procking the Guardian and basically purposely not directly aiming at any NPCs, and I'm still able to clear the room. Now really what I should add is that throughout my 1 year plus of playing the Chinese game and integrating in their community, interacting in their division groups and communicating with all the Chinese players that I've befriended along the way, I do sort of in a roundabout way understand a bit better as to why the Chinese find these pay to win models perfectly acceptable. You see, the traditional gaming model in China has been like a prepaid game time or subscription model, and since those gamers were used to that like recurring cost, most games have then turned into like a free-to-play model with microtransactions. So like as an example, in 2016 alone, over 88% of all PC game spending came from microtransactions in China. So there it is, it's like it's a big cultural difference in what's acceptable between the East and the West. I mean, I find that the international players of the division are always craving for more challenge and more content, whereas the Chinese players are happy to pay to make the game more comfortable to play. So both sets of players play the same game, just in a very different way. Now let's get back on topic. So what does this thing cost, and do I think it's worth it? So first of all, from the cost perspective, the initial level 1 Guardian can be gotten for free at this present moment if you log in for 7 days cumulatively until the 3rd of December. Now after that date you'll need to buy it. However, the cost is very low. It's really the equivalent of £1.40 in British money, which is less than $2 in American money. So it's a total no-brainer. You would generally go for a level 1 Guardian no matter what. Now between levels 2 to 6, each Guardian core will cost you the equivalent of £33 or $43 per core. So meaning that if you upgraded that to a level 6, that means you would have spent in the region of around about £165 or $220. Now if you want to take it to level 9, the only way of getting from level 6 to 9, or so getting level 7 to 9, is by buying raffle tickets on the game's website. To be guaranteed all of the cores, you're going to have to spend in the region of about £94 or $124, and that would give you a level 9 Guardian, which would actually take your spending to roughly about £260 or $340. So do I think it's worth it? No. No, from a Western gamer's point of view, no chance. But a level 1 Guardian for $2, absolutely, all day long, sign me up. Having one is like, it is really good. 100%. You know, I've always liked it since it first came out. Now from a CN player's point of view, they'll just completely lap this up, which doesn't really surprise me anymore. Anything that they can buy in game, they really go for. They go for in a big way. So in summary, I would say a level 1 Guardian, absolutely exceptional value for money. The price outlay for what you get for a maxed out Guardian is not worth it in my opinion. The original Guardian design is way better than the new model. For me, they need to implement some sort of toggle so you can change back to that particular model that you want. And did I buy it? No, I didn't. So there it is. But if I was Chinese, chances are I probably would have, just because it would have just felt normal. So my question to you is, would you buy it? If not, why? Is it the price? Do you dislike the features, or do you just dislike the looks like me? So let me know that in the comment section. I'd like to say a big thank you to all my viewers. I really do appreciate you watching my content, and an even bigger thank you of you, those of you who are actually still here to the end of this video, listening to me ramble on. So that's it from me until next time. Bye bye now.